What's going on, everybody? This is me, Mark, and I'm back again with another episode of Blurred Cast. And today is going to be probably my favorite episode I do all year long because we're talking about my favorite thing on earth, and that's DragonCon. And I'm joined by my special guest today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience?
Hey, thanks for having me. My name is Chuck Tomasi. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I must be excited too because I can't even say where I live.
What is it that you do, and what is it that makes you a geek?
The short story is I learn, I share, I change people's lives. So I love learning about technology. I love learning about a lot of things, even outside of technology. And then I share that in the form of podcasts and videos and blogs and you name it. I'm out there doing that. I've been doing that since I was a kid, when I first got into this in like the early 80s. And, I love the combination of technology by day or in my chest beats the heart of a programmer. So I started out my early career as a software developer, and now I'm a developer advocate. That's what I do during the day. So I make lots of content. I'm constantly doing a podcast here, or a video there, or a live stream. And I was able to take my early interest in podcasting from back in 2004 and weave that into the DNA of my whole job. So I think I got the greatest job on earth, which, isn't a bad gig when they pay you for your hobby.
Right. I 100% agree. That's a whole subject for another video series that you can find in the link in the description. But let's go ahead and move on with the interview. So why don't you tell me, what have you currently been geeking out to? There's been a lot of new cool things out. Game of Thrones is out. Ms. Marvel just ended not too long ago. What have you been consuming in the pop culture that's been tickling your fancy?
Oh man, where to go with that? I like when I get done with the workday, I often hit the couch, like most people, work at home. My wife is retired, so she stays at home and takes care of me, makes sure travel is booked and I actually take a vacation. And when we hit the couch, it's been a lot of Netflix. I got to tell you, it's not terribly interesting. We've been, watching. When we watch together, we watch the us shows. You got to have your shows, her shows, and us shows.
Right.
And we just finished watching The Old Man on Hulu with Jeff Bridges. That was real good. What am I watching? I tend to watch a lot of documentaries and science. I don't have. I'm sad to say it. I don't have Disney Plus. I don't have HBO Max, so I'm missing out on some of this new stuff.
Yeah.
And we've had this discussion at the dinner table, like, do we need another streaming service? Should we cut one out? It's a big discussion because you get to 4 or 5 of them and you're going, man, this is like my old cable bill. Am I getting any cheaper here?
Yeah.
And do you have time to watch it all? We're trying to keep up on a lot of the new content coming out on Hulu, on Amazon, on Netflix, and it's like, if I had Disney, now I've got a backlog of MCU and Star Wars, and holy crap, where am I going to get this time from? So yeah, it's a discussion that comes up about once or twice a week, especially when somebody says, "Hey, did you check out Obi-Wan?" I'm like, no.
well, I'm gonna just spoil some stuff for you. So since you don't have it,
go for it.
Joking. But no, you're missing out. Like, Game of Thrones is out on HBO Max now. I was watching it a little bit earlier today, just getting ready for DragonCon because it's dragons and dragons. So it's interesting. I'm waiting to see it. I'm waiting for it to catch up a little bit and just kind of get into it. Like how I know Game of Thrones is going to be, and all the Disney Plus stuff is to be honest, it's kind of hit and miss. I'll say this. With the MCU Disney Plus stuff, they have every show has like a great buildup of sinking you into that story, but they all do not stick the landing. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
See, I heard mixed reviews about House of Dragons. No, what is it?
House you're right. House of Dragon.
We're calling it Hot D. House of the Dragon. That's what it is. Hot D. Okay. I've heard mixed reviews because some people really like it, and other people like, well, more blood, guts, sex, and it's like, is it more of the same, or are they, what are they doing that would draw in a previous viewer? I did see, all of Game of Thrones, season 7, 8, whatever it was, right up to the end. And, to jump in and go, okay, is it more of the same? I tend to be cautiously sarcastic when I enter a new show like this. And my co-host of the other podcast will tell you that too. Like, Yeah, you like it now. You were such a curmudgeon when you first started this show. I was like, yes, because I don't want to overset the expectations. I don't want to let the be drawn in by hype, because I've had that too many times where you watch a show or a movie and everyone's like, oh, you got to see this. And my expectations are really high. And then you go, man, they really talked this up. And I was kind of disappointed. But if I go in going, I don't know about this, and then they surprise me with something that's spectacular, that's good. So I got to hear somebody go, yes, if you liked this, then you're going to love that. Or, no, it's different because. So I'm waiting for that kind of review.
Well, it's only been 2 episodes, so I can't like give any real insight because I'm still waiting for it to unfold to see what it can become. But the mindset I'm taking going into this is Game of Thrones season 1 through 5, some of the greatest TV to ever come out in the last 20 years. 6, 7, and 8, season 6, 7, and 8, swing and a miss, especially season 8, like huge swing and a miss, and it kind of ruined my taste for the franchise because I've read the books, I listened to the audiobooks. I definitely recommend you listen to the audiobooks. Just hearing the guy read it out and describe the scenes, it's mind blowing. It's a whole different experience. So I'm all about Game of Thrones, and like especially the last 2 seasons just kind of ruined it in my mouth. So now they're doing a prequel series. I already have a bias against like prequels and things like that. Like, you should start the story at the point where you want to start, not backtrack and reiterate some things. So I'm looking forward to, okay, what are they going to do to make this different? Clearly they're not going the White Walker angle. It's too far away in the past to even be worrying about that. Even if they have a sprinkling of it or something, it's going to be more political, I feel like, but that's good because I did like the political side of Game of Thrones. But it seems like they're just telling the story of a bunch of side characters that build up to the bigger story later on, centuries down the line.
Yeah, I suspect you're going to see little hooks in there about, oh, that's where, these people came from, or that's how this family got started, or that's why, they're so pissed at, it's like, okay, we get the Dothraki origin story or something like that.
Right.
And we could go on that show for another hour.
Yeah, we really could. But I feel like they have some redemption to make up. So I'm in it for the redemption. Like, they got to make me a fan of the show again. I'm a fan of the franchise because of the books and things, even though George R.R. Martin needs to come out with the last book. But that's neither here nor there. The show has to redeem me, and we'll see. The jury's still out. I'm in it, but we'll see. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to some of what I really want to talk about. And we're going to get into like your little personal interview. But the first thing, the burning question that is on my heart, I have to ask you is, what does DragonCon mean to you? DragonCon
means, I explain it to newbies as it's a big nerd fest. That's the easiest way, because some people know, many people know what Comic-Con is, especially San Diego or New York Comic-Con. Right. So you can kind of put it in that terms, but it's not the same. It's its own special con on its own.
Yes.
And it's become a gathering point for a lot of like-minded people and a lot of our friends in the podcasting community, especially. For me anyway, we get together. That's our time of year to get together and nerd out. Some of it is enjoying other people entertaining or educating us, and some of it is turning the tables and we're on the panel entertaining or educating other people. So it's a very special time in a very special place with, what do they say, like 70,000 of my closest friends.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree. And there's more to it because I kind of believe like I agree 100% when you said DragonCon, it's its own special con. Like there's not like there's not another con like DragonCon. Like, there's Comic-Cons all over the country, but there's not a single DragonCon outside of Atlanta. Close kind of might be able to contest with it in like 20 years. Ranger Stop and Pop in Atlanta. But that offers a completely different experience that even DragonCon kind of doesn't offer. But we'll see. But for me, like I've been going, I think this would be like my 14th or 15th year going. I've done almost everything I can think of at DragonCon, and every year there's still something new that tickles my fancy that I've never done before. I have yet to even do the cosplay in the aquarium event. And I know about that every year, and I just never do it because it's like always something so big and spectacular happening Saturday night. So it's like you it's like one of those great museums like the Guggenheim. Like you can go there your entire life and see all the exhibits, but you'll never be able to experience everything your lifetime. So you have to go with friends. You have to divide and conquer this con. Between all the panels, the celebrity panels, the educational panels, the photo shoots, which, you know, I'm a cosplay photographer, so that's where I spend my con, is outside with the group shoots. Just the cosplay, like DragonCon is like
unbelievable.
Oh my God. Like I've seen some amazing cosplay, but that amazing cosplay compared to the worst cosplay at DragonCon will blow it out of the water. Like everybody brings their Sunday's best. It is like church, a pilgrimage to Mecca, if you will. I've seen so many amazing, stunning cosplays that you can only see at DragonCon. Just for so many different reasons we're going to get into. But yeah, DragonCon is like the thing for me. I start planning DragonCon. Like I'm planning next year's DragonCon, and this year's con is like here. So I'm already. You have to
be that far ahead.
You have to. I'm already looking for Airbnb for next year. I'm already planning panels and shoots for next year. I have 2 shoots already booked for next year. For next year, not this year, but for next year. And I was like, dang, I really need a break from DragonCon. All right.
Did you go last year to 2021?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I was going to check on that because that was a limited experience for. I mean, definitely.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that
good.
too. But I just love DragonCon so much. I can't explain it. And then I'm from Atlanta, so that makes it even better. Oh my God, I just love DragonCon.
It's definitely one of 3 events in the year that charges my batteries back up. You know, you got to be around people. You got to be around, others that you can nerd out with or just kick back with. I mean, it's a fun combination because every year we have these certain traditions. You know, we go to Gibney's, and there's this trek that we do, but there's also all of those new experiences each year that you kind of blend together and go, hey, should this become a tradition for next year? That's why they started saying, Wednesday is the new Thursday, and Thursday pretty soon it's gonna be like July is the new Thursday. We keep backing this thing up, going, because it used to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some of Monday,
right?
And then they started putting things on Thursday. Well, you can't land in your plane at 5 p.m. on Thursday. You miss part of the con. It's like, no, I want to be at the whole thing. So yeah, we started arriving on Monday. Last year we stayed until Tuesday and realized that was a little long because everything was pretty much gone and shut down. So
well, it depends. So again, since I live in the area, I work downtown. I've been seeing
that's easy. Yeah.
Like just driving to work at 11 p.m. at night, I've been seeing cosplayers just cross the street, just blocks away from where con is going to be. And I'm like, oh, they start early every year. It never fails. So I've been seeing cosplayers for like the last 2 weeks. And there hasn't been like a con in like a couple of weeks since I think the last con was Atlanta Comic-Con, and yeah, so they're here. They're here. They book up all the hotels for a month. People stay weeks afterwards and still do stuff. Yeah, I was like 1 year, like I think the year before they officially made Thursday a day. Because that was a crazy year too. Because I see why. Because like everybody was just already there, just partying. Security didn't know what to do. Like they didn't have a badge for Thursday, so it was like a crazy party that Thursday. It was really insane. And then the next year, it was nope. This is official day. So now everything moved up to Wednesday. Oh my God, I love this con so much. Like that, I know this issue like this. But yeah, you talked about traditions, and that's definitely one thing I want to get into. Like I have my traditions that I do, things I have to do when I go to cons. Some stuff you just kind of have to do. And one of my, and this is gonna be weird. You can laugh at me all you want. One of my favorite traditions of going to DragonCon is waiting in line to get my badge.
I thought you were going to say something like the Waffle House.
No, again, I'm from Atlanta. I ate Waffle House all my life during college.
No, that's cool. I totally get the I totally get the badge line thing because you meet people there. You see some interest. It's all about the people. And now last year was a bit of a deviation from the previous years. When we first started going, it was like around the block, wait 4 hours and you get your badge.
Right.
And then they got better at it for a number of years. It was like walk up to the hotel, go in and get your badge. And it was really fast. Last year slowed down because they had to show vaccination records. So it got back to a very manual, paper-based process before they'd give you your badge.
Right.
They're not requiring vaccination this year, but they're making you wear a mask. Don't try and figure that logic out. I haven't yet. So I'm expecting it to be a little quicker this year.
Yes, and I also expect a lot of people to suffocate to death in the Georgia heat wearing a mask. So also prepare for that.
Well, no, the masks are only required inside. So if you're walking between
okay.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
No, even still, if you're going into the Marriott Saturday night, and I've yet to feel AC in that building on a Saturday night with the rain going on.
You're right. It does get warm in the Marriott.
And even like last year, because I went to the Marriott around that time, and it was still a large crowd. Even though it was a diminished crowd, it was still a really large packed crowd and struggled to get through. Yep. But God, man, this is my favorite con.
So the badge line, what other traditions you got?
Well, I'll save that for the after dark part. So since I'm a cosplay photographer, there's certain photo shoots of my certain fandoms that I absolutely have to either attend or be the lead photographer for. And that's like my favorite shoot there, or it's weird. It's tied for one of my favorite shoots. It's tied for number one with another one. But the Avatar, Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra shoot, I'm the lead photographer for that. This would be my fourth year doing it. Third year, because they didn't have it in 2020. So yeah, this would be my third year doing it. I vlog it. I have a vlog up on my channel now where I did it from last year. It was such a great photo shoot. It was only supposed to be 30 minutes. We were there for like almost 2 hours just because I wanted to keep shooting.
Very cool.
And then my other favorite tradition is Black Geeks of DragonCon. I've been going to that every year since they've had it.
Awesome.
And I was the lead photographer for that last year too. And this year I'm going to work on doing some cosplay photography stuff. Maybe even a cosplay AMV or something, since I'm working on more video work. So that's the tradition. I'll tell you the reason why I like waiting in line and why I appreciate it so much last year that it went back to how it used to be like 10 years ago. Because I like to act a fool in line and just like be my natural self and just get everybody hyped up. Like I'm the hype man when you go to a con. So if you're at DragonCon, look for me, because I'm gonna make your experience really good. So yeah, I just like gauging the experiences and the facial expressions of people while I'm sitting there. Yeah. Trying to vlog in line and just, cutting up with my friends like I naturally would anyway. And everyone around me just dies laughing and just enjoys themselves. And you meet some cool people. And you walk around Atlanta about 15 times before you get your badge. Hopefully we'll see if it gets better this year. But that's just me. I'm weird. Because I remember back when they had it at the Marriott in the basement and you had to walk around the Marriott 4 times before you got in the building. And then the maze that it was on the inside. And then I say around maybe 2014, 2015 or so, like it was just always you just walk in, walk out. And that was good too, but you miss certain aspects of things you grew up with at going to this con. I slept under tables at this con just because I've done a lot of weird things at DragonCon that I am proud of. I am proud of everything I've done at DragonCon. And we'll maybe get into all that a little bit later. But what are some of your traditions outside of what you mentioned earlier? I forgot.
One of them is the parade. We are the closer to the parade. It was interesting because the first year we went was 2009, and we had been going to a podcast conference each fall and thought, wait a minute, our original idea for going to DragonCon was to drum up more viewers or listeners for our podcast. And we said, let's just go to DragonCon and do a little reconnaissance, figure out what it's all about. We weren't even like 5 minutes into it, and the podcast track director said, hey, do you guys want to do a panel? Because I know you've done live performances before. I went, sure. Well, now it's a working weekend.
Right.
And it all started from there. And I remember we were outside of the MARTA station, kind of where the food court exits out, and the parade is going by, and I can't see anything. I mean, you know how many people are watching the parade. And we're like 12 people deep, and I'm looking over the heads of the people in front of us going, I think the Ent from Lord of the Ring just walked by because it looked like a tree. I couldn't see anything. I said, how do you even know when this parade is over? And I turned to my friend Craig next to me, and I said, Craig, someday, some way, I'm going to put a Santa Claus at the end of this parade because the parade ain't over till Santa goes by. And I mentioned it to the parade coordinator, and she said, I want it. I want it now. Like, oh,
so that was you. That was you.
We are, since 2014, we have been the closer of the DragonCon parade with the evil robot Santa from Futurama. And I'm the guy who dresses up as Farnsworth. We've got Scruffy. We got a couple of fries. The group is growing. We started with like 4 or 5 of us, and now we're up to like 30. So it's been a lot of fun. A great group of people. We keep in touch on this Facebook chat all year round. It has been extremely busy, like most other DragonCon related things. You know, the Discord channels and whatnot are just blowing up the last couple of weeks. Like, have you got this? Where are we going for that? You know, where are we doing lunch on Saturday? You know, it's down to that level of detail. Right. How many people are going? Like, I don't even have anything. It's getting really exciting. So we got the parade on Saturday morning. That, I think, makes DragonCon one of the most unique conferences right there.
Yes.
Nobody else has a parade. That's just so awesome.
Yeah, and that's true. And it's like all voluntary, like it's free to attend. Like you don't have to have a badge to do it, except last year, which I don't even know how they enforce that. And like I've done the parade ever since 2019, where I'll just volunteer for some photography and video services.
Thank you.
Like a group.
Thank you.
No problem. I did it for selfish reasons, so don't thank me. Because I have a bucket list of what I want to do at con, and like it was always okay. Do the parade, like go watch the parade on the street. Well, the first time I got to do it, I almost got into a fight. So I was like, all right, never watch a parade on the street again. Hey, you know, it'd be good if I use this camera to get in the parade, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So every year I'll find a random group of cosplayers who are going to be in the parade, offer services to do something. The first year I did it, it was supposed to be with I forgot, but it never worked out because they couldn't come. They didn't want to come out of the staging area to let me in since I didn't have a wristband or anything. So I somehow got in. You know, you have a camera, they'll let you in and do anything. That's literally what happened. The lady was like, you know what, I'm so overwhelmed. You got a camera, you're here to do some videography stuff. Here's your wristband, go find your group. And I was like, oh my God, all right, I'm doing this every year now. So I just found some random group and just started taking pictures of them and walk with them during the parade. I got to be on TV. I worked at a TV station at the time. And they covered the parade, and my coworkers were texting me, oh, we'll see you on TV and doing all this and that. So that was like a good experience for me. So I was like, yep, every year I'm doing the parade.
That was a big deal when I went from just DragonCon TV covering it to the CW.
Right.
Atlanta covering it. It's like, wow, we got TV coverage. And then Brian Richardson, you know, kind of jumped ship. He was like the DragonCon TV guy, and he went over to the CW as the commentator.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, oh my God. And I'm so glad it's on that is actually on national TV and stuff, and people probably get to see it. And they get to see me because every year I'm in it. Like I make sure I specifically look out the CW camera and the CBS cameras, and I make sure I'm on camera. So yeah, that's always fun. That was
fun. Really bizarre last year because they've been doing the CW since 2017, 2018, something. And they always tell you, the parade coordinators and helpers are going, don't loiter in front of the camera. Everybody wants to stop, and the LARPers do their thing. And they go, keep moving is what they say. Last year, there were so few people in the parade and so few people spectating. They're like, take your time. And we're the last group.
Yeah.
You know, we got like 45 minutes in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite like that, but it's like, really? We can mug the camera this year. So it's kind of fun.
That was kind of weird because like I noticed it took a lot longer than it did because I felt like they were stretching it out as it was
stretched out. Oh man, the 501st is in front of us, and they're like, I can't even see them at certain points of the parade.
Yeah, like there was like huge gaps in between too.
Yeah. Well, huge gaps of spectators too. It's like,
Well, yeah, that too. That
I'm just
too.
walking down the street at this point. There's nobody watching.
Yeah, because I remember back in 2019, like it was packed. It was so many people in 2019, and like you said, how do you know when the parade is over? Well, even when the parade is over, all 90,000 of those people are going to flood the streets and just congest everything for hours. So the parade is never really over. It's never over because it lives on in our hearts after it's truly done.
We stay at the Embassy Suites, so after the parade, we got to get from the Marriott to the Embassy Suites on the other side of Centennial Park, and it will take us an hour to get back.
Right.
You got to go up this street. No, that one's closed.
There's some side streets you can take. I used to stay at the Embassy Suites. After the podcast, I'll message you some side streets because it's like instead of going the main way, you cut up this one street that's next to the Hyatt Regency, and it's like a 5-minute walk.
I probably would be better off walking, but after walking through the parade, I'm too hot.
Oh well, yeah, that I understand. I definitely understand. Like I'm so glad that you mentioned that because like the staging area time, we have so much time. I would come down there and look for you, just to get you on.
We're easy to find. We're right in front of the North Street Church every time.
Okay. So I know exactly where to go find you because I'm always in the parking deck. I always just go in there, and that's always where my groups are. And it's like so many people there, so many different groups. So that's more like the beginning of the parade, or a little bit because then the A's and B's will be out on the street. So yeah, that's the beginning of the parade where I'm usually at in the parking deck. So I'm gonna come find you.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So
what's next on this crazy interview?
Yeah. Hey, again, this is DragonCon. This is when my best, like the best in humanity, in my opinion, comes out for DragonCon. I'm a better person. Like everyone around me is a better person because we're at DragonCon. And like you said, it's 60,000 of your best friends. I have yet to not meet new friends going to DragonCon. Every single time. So let me ask you this. How you say you've been going to DragonCon since 2019? You've gone every year. I mean, 2009 since 2009. You've been going to DragonCon every year, or have you taken any breaks in between?
Nope, haven't taken any off. With the exception of 2020, but we even did like the digital.
Okay.
We did the digital media track, so we had a live show for that one too.
Okay.
So since 2005, we've been doing some sort of variation. It's funny, and I know this is going to sound wrong as soon as I say it, but many of our traditions start in our room and then become public. We started doing our original live podcasts were done around a hotel table in our room with a few friends, and that grew and became a thing. Like it's a panel now. Wow, that's amazing. Last year, I did a kind of a proof of concept on the digital media track. I said, I want to do a digital karaoke party. And like, what? I said, no 3-ring binders, no pieces of paper, no clipboards. I said, this is all digital. I wrote an app to take care of this. This is exactly what it was for. Mm-hmm. And Charles McFall, bless his heart, he said, I got a room for you Saturday night. We went for 4 hours. We were out to like 1:30 in the morning, still singing. I said, I'm not done yet. He said, you got to leave. And this year it's officially on the schedule. So we had a decent turnout last year, and I don't know what to expect this year if it's officially on the schedule because people look for that stuff. So it's another one of those, hey, let's try it out, because the past 2-3 years we've been doing like this small 8 or 10 of us get together in the hotel room. How we were not kicked out, I don't know, because we were not quiet. and that became a real bona fide thing. So it's become a lot of fun just to come up with these crazy ideas that become part of the programming structure.
Right.
So yeah, haven't missed a single one since 2009.
Gotcha. That's amazing. I've missed a few since I've been going since 2006. 1 year I was sick, but I still went like 2 days. I shouldn't have went those 2 days because I was really sick.
Probably infected a dozen other people.
No, it wasn't that kind of sick. It was more of I should have just not been moving.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, no, I already paid for this badge. I am not going to let this go to waste. I am not letting this go to waste. And I waited to the last second to get it and got sick the week of con. That was not gonna. 2014 was a bad year for me. So I gotta ask you this because I'm a huge fan of your shirt. Which Marriott carpet do you prefer? Are you an original like me, obviously you are. Do you like this new atrocity of some beige whatever they don't put on the floor?
The racing stripes, I think they call it.
I don't. It looks like stripes, but not racing stripes.
We didn't realize what we had lost until we lost it. The original Marriott carpet, I always likened it. If anybody, I don't know if this is audio or audio and video. You tell.
It's gonna be
okay. Both. Yeah. So the pattern you see here, it reminded me of casinos. Like casinos have the worst carpeting.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get that stuff designed. Somebody's getting paid to make these nasty patterns, and that's kind of what this is. But it has sort of a geometric beauty to it too. Yes. So it's both analytical and creative, and. That's sort of my sweet spot. The and you know the whole backstory about the commandos that were cosplaying the carpet and they laid down and okay, so I was there for that. I actually saw those guys and it's like there's no way people are gonna trip over those. That is the stupidest excuse. I just think they needed to replace their carpet and wanted an excuse.
Right.
And then as many things happen at DragonCon, it becomes a meme, and now there's a whole section of the parade for the cult of the Marriott carpet. So I'm totally on board. Yeah, I'd be wearing a shirt like this, and somebody says, "Hey, have a sticker," and now I have a sticker on my laptop with the Marriott carpet.
Right.
It's just, the things people pass out to you is just for no reason is just hysterical in some cases.
Yeah. That's so interesting. You brought the cult, the Marriott carpet, because they're who are covered in the parade last year. For the simple fact that they were the cult of the Marriott carpet, and I have such history with this carpet. I slept on that carpet at DragonCon for 3 days. I have drooled on that carpet, so I have a personal history. My first DragonCon, I was 18 and in college and first job ever. And my friends all decided to go. And, I've heard about DragonCon every year. My dad went to DragonCon every year, never took me. But anyway, so we go and I'm like, I have money to burn and no responsibility. So let me paint the town red. And I did. And didn't know anything about getting a hotel room, didn't even think it was something possible. And I was like, I just want to be in this atmosphere. One of my friends was like, oh, I got a spot, blah, blah, blah. We can sleep there. He didn't, long story short. So I was like, well, Miss Marta, I ain't got no car. I got to sleep underneath this table. That first night I didn't sleep just because there was so much stuff going on. I just walked around, found the 24-hour movie room where they showed nothing but animes and old stuff.
Oh, cool.
We're showing Red Dwarf, which I loved Red Dwarf growing up. I'm such a weird kid. But yeah, that was one of my shows growing up. So I sat in there for a little bit. But the next night, I just wasn't having it. It was a Friday night, and I was like, nope, I got to take a nap somewhere. And they was kicking people out because the security would come around, look underneath the table, and they find you sleeping, they'll just kick you out, take your badge, and that was it. So luckily I didn't get caught. Almost, I don't know. It was a weird time, but never did that again after the first time. So again, when I see the Marriott carpet and when that whole thing went down, when they took it out, it was
sad day.
It was a really sad day. It was a really sad day. It was like losing something special. Like you said, you didn't know what we lost until it was gone.
Oh, another tradition I forgot about.
Okay.
We started this 2012, 2011. I can't remember. My daughter actually came up with the idea. I said, we need some sort of social engineering experiment. But it's got to be fun. And you see those people at cons, not even necessarily DragonCon, but they're walking around with signs that says free hugs.
Yeah.
And I saw one guy says free shrugs. He just walks up and he shrugs his shoulder and walks away. Like, okay, that's funny.
Right.
Well, my daughter and I came up with free awkward hugs. So I hold up this sign. And it's priceless. It's just this crappy beat up cardboard sign with written in marker. This is free awkward hugs. And one of my favorite situations, you can see this coming a mile away. It's like we'll be standing a few feet back from the bottom of an escalator, so we're not obstructing traffic.
Right.
And I can spot this couple a mile away because it's usually the later it gets, the more people have been drinking. And here comes this guy and a girl coming down the escalator. I'm like, there they are. And she's got this look in her eye like, I want to hug the weirdo with the cardboard sign. and the guy is trying not to make eye contact, like, you're not going anywhere. and they start walking towards me, doot, and then he veers them both away. Like, then there they go. But there's all this interesting, not I don't. It's not empirical data, but do you get hugged more by guys or girls? Okay, a lot of guys are not shy about coming up and giving free awkward hugs.
Right.
Where you stand makes a difference. What you wear. I've worn a tux, and I've worn cut-off cargo shorts, and I've worn everything in between. And so it's really interesting to see what kind of reactions you get from people, and how they behave. It's probably one of the funnest things you could do for absolutely free with just this crappy cardboard sign. Yeah, and then 2 days later, I jump in the elevator like at the Westin, and somebody goes, "Hey, you're the awkward hug guy." Great. Yeah, that's what I'm known for, among many other things.
That's so cool. That's another thing I like about DragonCon is like the creativity of some of the stuff that people have done. I've seen some really great creative, like not necessarily cosplay, but not necessarily not cosplay stuff. And I've seen some really bad, really offensive stuff people have done. I used to think this is funny. I don't think it's funny now. Still kind of think it's a little bit funny. It was a guy, like my second year, he had all those little free mini deodorant things, and he would just go around tossing it out to people. He was giving it away to everybody. He wasn't like singling people out or anything.
Right.
But a lot of people took offense to that. But I found that
the gamers, you got to go to where the gamers are, because they just stay there all the time.
Yeah. Because for those of you, here's a little pro tip. I don't know how the PC say this, but this is a geek con, and you might smell some odors because people and they just want to come to this con. So it can be a little offensive at times, but luckily most of the con is outside. You don't have to do anything. Just when you're in the sky lifts or when you're in the sky bridges and like tight corridors,
you'll pass them.
Yeah,
this is when it's actually a positive thing to wear a mask indoors.
There you go. But it's gotten better. But like I remember, like my first 3 years, I was like, man, this is just like the boys' locker room all over again. Couldn't take it. Another thing that I really like doing at DragonCon, like after I get my badge, immediately the first thing I do is try to walk every square inch of the con that I can. And I have not been able to do that since they've added all the newer hotels and things. Like the Westin. I didn't even know they had panels and stuff in the Westin Hotel until I had to go to one in the Westin Hotel. America's Mart, they've doubled it up and made it bigger because again, back in the day, the deals room used to just be in the Marriott, but it's its own building now. So like over the years, I've loved seeing how the con has grown. At its peak in 2019 before the pandemic, it was like 85,000, close to 90,000 people there. At its max, when I first started, it was like, I think 50, 60,000 the first year when I went. So it has grown a lot, and DragonCon has a lot of recognition here, not only in just Georgia and in Atlanta, but just in the South as a con as a whole. It's like the 10th largest con in the country the last time I checked.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty dope. And it just like, I think like DragonCon just represents the best of what Atlanta has to offer, because DragonCon's not the only thing that happens, this weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. You have the star of college football, Mercedes-Benz. Always packed. All the bars, everything's always packed. There are other events, like local events going on. Like something's going on at the Centennial Olympic Park, something's going on in Piedmont Park. It's like something's going on all over the city this weekend. So even if you're not like a huge like geek like how we are, if you come to DragonCon, experience it for a day or two, maybe you come on a Friday, maybe you come on a Saturday, you see the parade. There's other things in the city you can go to and do for like family fun entertainment and even adult entertainment. It's Atlanta. There's a lot of stuff for everybody. But there's a lot to offer at DragonCon. I want to go ahead and move on to this subject, to the second main topic.
Sure.
What are your plans for this year's DragonCon? Now that DragonCon is here, we're at its doorsteps. What is your personal schedule for the 5 days at con?
Thursday is kind of get up, set up, prep day. So got to pick up the wristbands for the parade, get badges, just kind of hook up with people that we haven't seen for a while and make sure everybody got everything they need for the rest of the week. So it's sort of a inhale day because here comes the rest of the stuff. Right. I don't really have any solid plans on Thursday. Friday, we do a live panel as part of the Trek Track. I got to make sure I got my days right. Yes, 4 p.m. in Hilton Galleria 2 and 3. We are doing a live version of our podcast called The Topic is Trek. But it's not just, us sitting at the table recording a podcast. We involve the audience. In fact, most of the show revolves around the audience.
Right.
So we purposely put in content. I'd say it's a derivation of our podcast. So it's all Star Trek stuff, and it's all a lot of fun. We've been doing that for a few years. The podcast is only 5 years old. I say only 5 years old because we've been doing other podcasts for like 17. So
Gotcha.
Been at this a while. The Saturday is parade, and then parade pretty much consumes all of the morning. By the time we get back to the hotel, get cleaned up, it's lunch, and grab lunch, take a nap, because Saturday night is coming, and we've got the karaoke party starting at 10 p.m. that goes theoretically till 12:30, but I'm going to keep pushing that envelope as long as I can. And then Sunday we've got another panel at 2:30 in the digital media track room for a combination of two shows. This is the 10th time we've done this, so it's actually the same trio, me, Craig, and Clinton, who do The Topic is Trek. We have two different shows. So me and Craig do one called Technorama, and then Clinton has a show called Comedy Forecast. And the ironic thing is, somehow this works because Technorama is very much not scripted. Our entire show is bullet items, and Clinton's is very scripted. And we mashed these things together, and it somehow works. Again, involving the audience. They have a lot of fun. A lot of our regular listeners show up, some new faces, and it's a lot of fun. So those are the main pillars that I got to hit. There's going to be other stuff along the way. What was the one that I heard today? Photo shoot, Star Trek photo shoot. I'm going to try and get in on that. So one of my buddies, Gary, says, "Hey, he laid out his schedule." And I went, "Well, I'm not on that. I want to go there." So I'm finding things to add to my schedule because I've got 4 days where I'm wearing 4 different Star Trek uniforms, except for the parade. That's going to be Hubert Farnsworth. Good news, everyone. And then the rest is all Star Trek. I think I may have brought like 2 T-shirts. Aside from that, it's like, why bring extra clothes? It's just, there's no need.
Let me ask you this. This is a random off-topic question.
Go ahead.
What's something geeky that you do to prepare for con?
Oh my. Did you have anything in mind?
Okay, so like for me, I try to catch up on all my current fandoms that I like. So the reason why I do this, I binge watch everything that I can and like rewatch a bunch of stuff. Like, once we get done with this podcast, I'm turning my TV, throw on Avatar just because I need to just refresh myself. It never fails. I see a cosplayer who's dressed up as a character I should know, but I don't because I didn't watch the newest thing that came out 10 seconds before con started.
There are so many niches in cosplay that I mean, people are even coming up with mashups of their own. So
I love mashups.
Oh, I love mashups too. Those, there's also those people that wear the cosplay that resonates with 2 people out of that 70,000. But when you get it, you get it.
Right.
And it's the proudest moment. Like, what I dressed up.
Yes, I love that moment.
I know what you're supposed to be. And they're like, oh, thank God somebody recognizes this because it's from some obscure, cartoon in the 70s that they made their interpretation out of. Those get pretty obscure, but they're there. Yeah. And I love those things. There's just way too much for me. I go to DragonCon knowing that I'm not going to recognize half of what's going on. And it's like, yep, there go the Battlestar Galactica people. And right behind them, I have no idea. And somebody goes, oh, that's from, such and such movie. Well, I didn't watch the movie, so I don't know. It's impossible to keep up with all of that stuff. And I've just admitted defeat before I even get there. If somebody happens to be wearing something that I watched, say, in the last year and go, oh, now I understand that. It's kind of like, when my kids were growing up, they saw a lot of references to Star Wars stuff in cartoons and other pop culture. And then we sat down and watched Star Wars. They go, oh, now I know. I get that kind of moment. So that's sort of some of the fun that I have with that is like, what's new here that I haven't seen before? Or, I look back through some of the old pictures from 09, 010 and go, wow, there's some cosplay that nobody does anymore. Yeah. Because those things just aren't in the zeitgeist anymore.
Right.
So my preparation is mainly around making sure I have all the electronics I need.
Yeah, that's a big one for me too.
I packed up my, Zoom H6 so I know that we can record our sessions or have that karaoke party, just so I've got what it takes to do those engagements.
Okay, cool. So that's a lot of my same ritual things too, like can't talk. Like charging all my camera gear, my batteries and things like that, making sure like, okay, I'm gonna be walking around Atlanta for like 16 hours a day. Let me make sure I got like my battery, cell phone charging thing, all my bottled water stuff, everything.
Last year I forgot an HDMI cable because we did the in-room karaoke and I couldn't connect. I was in the ticket line Thursday and I ordered an HDMI cable and they said, you won't have this till Sunday. I said, no. So I ordered another one and I had them shipped to the embassy suite. Of course, both of them show up before I need them. I was like, now my wife is going to kill me because I've already got like 8 other HDMI cables at home and I just ordered 2 more that I didn't need. Like, what an idiot.
I've had that happen to where I've forgotten like important things I need for photo shoots. And I've had to like unpack my entire car, get like my roommate set up and ready to go. U-turn back to my house and like, okay, I'm going.
At least you're local. I can't just go back to Phoenix to get it.
But like I've had to do that. Like last year was kind of bad. We were really disorganized last year. I had to make 3 separate trips just to get everything and still forgot stuff and had to go back and spend my time just getting stuff I forgot for a 5-day vacation.
Right.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about DragonCon after dark, because like DragonCon is a lot of things, but at nighttime, especially on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's like it's grown-up time. The kids go to bed. They don't need to be around.
Some don't.
The cosplay changes to format. The atmosphere changes. It's literally Magic City. If you get that reference, I don't think you would. But yeah. Okay, but yes, it's DragonCon After Dark is probably my favorite part. It's where I get my energy back because in the daytime I'm working, I'm shooting, fun, happy, fun, family friendly guy. At night, I am my geek adult child self. I'm going out, we're drinking, we're finding some party, some rave, or something to get into. I'm in my 30s now, so I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that again, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm getting a little old, especially like the parade on Saturday. That's gonna be bad.
You're not. I'm older, much older. Yeah, it's a challenge for me to stay up that late. I mean, that karaoke party that I had, I got that energy from the crowd and from the singing and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So that's what kept me going. And when we hopped in the Uber back to the embassy suites, I just hit a wall. I mean, I physically felt it when that energy switch went off. So yeah, I can, during DragonCon, it's not unusual for me to, change my sleep patterns, shall we say. I normally hit the bed about 10 o'clock most nights, and I'll extend that to 12:30 for DragonCon.
Right.
Realizing you can't do that really well on Friday night when you got to get up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. to start preparing for the parade. That's the one you got to watch out for, and rookies will get caught by that. We had 2 guys last year that did stay a little late Friday night, but bless their heart, they joined us. They got to the staging area and then they fell asleep on the church steps. It was the funniest looking thing to see a couple of robots laying there. But when the time came, it's like, hey guys, up and at 'em. They jumped right in and they did their part. So you got to be wise about your scheduling as well. But you're right. It's a different scene at night, and it's a whole lot of fun. And that's just my favorite time to just people watch. Stand on that loft in the Marriott and watch the crowd and go, who's that? Where's that? Oh, so-and-so is back.
Yeah. Some of the best cosplay I've seen has been Saturday night in the rave. The cosplayers plan and take into consideration of that party atmosphere and the dim lighting. They do the LED piping in their cosplay and like just the most phenomenal cosplay you can see. Like in a dark, cramped like area of a major hotel in Atlanta. Oh my god, it's so much fun. And then like everyone's dancing, regardless of how heavy your cosplay is. You're dancing, you're moving. The crowd is walking back. There's a conga line of Deadpool going around the perimeter, annoying.
Because that's what you do.
Right, that's what you do. It's DragonCon.
And right behind him is a conga line of zombies. And
right. I can't tell you how many times I've just gone to the Hilton in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., and seen a Jedi versus Sith lightsaber battle in the middle of the night, Saturday night, just because.
Yeah.
Love it. Love every single moment about it. But yeah, DragonCon After Dark, there's a lot of fun, interesting things. They have a lot of adult-centric panels. There's my first year when I experienced DragonCon After Dark. I went to something called a hentai voiceover panel. Yeah, that changed me. I
in a good way or a bad way? I changed you how? You got my curiosity going here.
I want to say in a good way, because now I'm like, I know I don't like this ever. So I think it changed me in a good way. Like, hey, this is a type of anime I don't want nothing to be a part of. Hentai, that's not for me. That's a little bit much. But it was fun. It was interesting. I was 18, got a big laugh out of it, and it was like 100 people in a room built for 25. So that was fun. And yeah, I never did that again. Then what else? There was some like interesting life drawing classes. I've done that, like cosplay life drawing classes. They do After Dark. A lot of partying. I cannot underestimate, or I can't. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, if you can't find a party, you're not
right. You're not doing DragonCon right if you can't find a party. Like, I mean, DragonCon itself is a party, but if you're walking around con Friday, Saturday, Sunday night and can't find somewhere to go get drunk at, you're doing DragonCon wrong. 100% wrong.
If that's what you want to do, not everybody.
If that's what you want to do,
right.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do,
it's not all drunken debauchery.
It's not.
There's other ways to have fun.
It's not. You're right. There are other ways to have fun, but if you're into that thing, it helps. It helps with the fun. But like the arcade is 24 hours. I love, like, especially on Friday night when I like done like my work and I can just kind of enjoy the con. For me, first thing I do is go to the arcade room, go to the joystick arcade. And just have fun and just like do some DDR. I haven't done DDR in like 10 years. So that's always something I look forward to going and playing and getting my butt whooped in Tekken. That's one of my favorite fighting games to play. And it's all free. Like, come on. Like, it's amazing. A 24-hour arcade that's free. And they have like all the updated games and cool Tekken stuff. Come on. Then I'm a big Magic the Gathering fan. So like, they have the tabletop game room. I'll be there like Sunday night in the middle of the night just playing people just because. I don't sleep during DragonCon, and if I do, it's like the 10 minutes I get in between walking from one photo shoot to a panel. So I have to sleep while walking. Coffee, pro tip, coffee and tea will be your best friend, and comfortable shoes.
Oh, yes, definitely on the shoes. There's a lot of walking. Normally, during an average day around here, I'll get about 6,000 steps. It's probably more like 26,000 steps at DragonCon.
Especially if you put in the parade, yes, you will get your steps in. I don't know if you play Pokemon Go, but during DragonCon is when I do my Prime Pokemon Go, hatch all the eggs. Oh my God, just perfect. Oh my God, I'm not looking forward to the parade this year. I'm already tired just thinking about it. Like, I gotta wake up at 4 a.m.
You said you didn't sleep.
I made that mistake last year. Like, we did a podcast record that Friday night. Then we started playing Smash. Then we went out and just enjoyed the con and didn't get back to like 3 a.m. Took like a nap, overslept, got up at 7, still made it in time. But, you know, having to work the parade and have a hangover is not fun. It's not fun.
You're the people I point and laugh at.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand I'm getting old. I am not in my 20s. I can't do DragonCon like I used to, because like, yeah, I used to be able to do it all, and no, I gotta stop. I am not a spry young man like I used to be.
I get it. I'm closing in on 60, and Same kind of thing when I go downhill skiing. It's like, don't ski like you're 18, idiot. Because the brain goes, it's fun, it's fast.
Right.
And the body goes, you're going to regret it.
Yeah.
DragonCon's the same way. Like, hey, remember your age, walk a little slower. You want to report to work on Tuesday? Here's what you got to do. Of course, judgment is impaired with alcohol.
Yeah. Well, going to work on Tuesday, I've gotten into it. Here's another tradition. I have to take a vacation from DragonCon the week after before I go back to work. Just because you need that time to recuperate and edit a bunch of videos.
Sometimes you pick up con crud too, and you need to recuperate.
Let's not even talk about that. That con crud. I'm glad it didn't happen last year because it would have been something.
Yeah, there were fewer people and everybody was wearing a mask. So
right. So
kudos to that.
Yeah. So, but like I've had con crud and con depression at the same time. They're not fun. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after con, and you're sad and sick and your feet hurt and you wore the wrong shoes 4 days. Yeah, you're gonna need that recoup time. Like I've done a lot of dumb things for Dragon.
Sounds like there's a market for something there to deal with all of that, or at least some of that.
Yeah. Like, there's a market for that.
We should there's got to be something to get people out of that post DragonCon funk, or at least wean them off of it or something.
YouTube videos and just
watch the digital. That's usually when I'm going through the photos. Right. Photos and videos going, okay, I got to sort this out.
Yeah.
Was I in it? Mark shared his photo gallery. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So that helps.
Yeah, that helps, but I don't know. I just feel like DragonCon needs to be 2 weeks. It just needs to be 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
I'm realistically speaking.
It says the man that says I'm in my 30s and I can't do 5 days. Let's make it 2 weeks.
I mean, but like that'll give me time to okay, I can go home for a day or two and then come back on a Thursday or something. Like DragonCon on Monday, that sounds awesome. I'm never gonna not get enough DragonCon. I don't care how old I get, especially if I have kids. No, that's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I'm saying that you can have too much of a good thing.
2 weeks of a 2 week party with my 60,000 my closest friends. What could go wrong in cosplay in Atlanta in the heat? No,
I pity the volunteers. It's like, how much programming would we have to put together on a track? It's like, oh, well, there's just nothing happening in the Skeptics track on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 2 weeks. Like, that raises all kinds. I'm sorry, my program management hat just went on, and it's like, this raises all kinds of considerations that make it very difficult to do a 2 week program like that. It's hard to do like a 2 week cruise.
Yeah, you're right. But if you got a bunch of cosplayers showing up in cosplay, you can make your own fun. You don't need to.
You thought the BO was bad after a few days.
Well, yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Okay. Maybe I'm just a little too excited for DragonCon. Okay, I'm just a little too excited.
Yeah, let's have this conversation the week after. See what you say. My head hurts. My feet hurt. My bones hurt.
Well, if I do DragonCon the way I plan on doing it this year, that post-con podcast is going to come out in December. So
call me back. We'll have this follow-up question. And I'll go, okay, what did you learn this year?
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I always do overdo it. Just
everybody does.
But that's part of it. Because it's so much stuff that you want to do. Like some people, they only do DragonCon. Like this is their vacation.
I don't think I've seen an actual factual panel since 2010. Like,
oh yeah.
Aside from the ones I do, I remember the first year I went in 2009, I was picking up my badge, and my buddy's texting me from the Hyatt, going, "Hey, where are you?" I said, "I'm in line." "Where are you now?" "Well, I turned the corner." It was the around the block twice kind of thing.
Right.
I finally get my badge. He says, "Well, they're starting soon. I'm holding you a seat." Well, you're not supposed to hold a seat. This was William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, wow. Panel.
Yeah. And so I'm running uphill from the Sheraton to get to the Hyatt. Now I'm out of breath. It's hot. I got to get inside. And there's a line for that going out the door and around the block. I said, Craig, I don't think. He says, I'm holding your seat. Just come on in. I said, you can't come on in. There's a line.
Right.
So, and of course, there's, the guys with the earpieces in going, yeah, there's someone's cutting in line. So I pulled this dirty little trick, and I said, I noticed the line went right past the bathroom. So I said, I got to go to the men's room. Okay, go to the men's room and come back out. I go to the men's room, and of course, when Craig is still texting me. He's on the phone at this point. So I'm on the phone in the men's room going, no, I can't. Wait, I can't just walk into the men's room and then walk back out. They'll notice something. So I gotta wait this like fake period of peeing and come back out. I come out of the bathroom and I get right in line, and it was only like 20 feet to the door. So, sweating bullets going, I hope that, and behind me, I hear this pseudo conversation of, I think he went in the men's room, but I haven't seen him. You can get your badge taken away for crap like that. So don't do that, people. Don't do that. But it was like my first DragonCon was almost my last.
Yeah, I've had those moments. Man, I was banned from the DragonCon Facebook group for like 6 months for something I did. I broke the cardinal rule of DragonCon, so I learned that year, in 2017. Don't do that. Don't do that one thing. But yeah, Rule 14, they're very serious about that at DragonCon. If you don't know what Rule 14 is, it's their media, photography, video thing. You can't solicit, charge for things. You're supposed to do all that, and they're very strict about that. Even if you comment on the official page that you're going to DragonCon and one of their admins just happens to look at your personal Facebook page and see that you're soliciting, they will ban you from the con completely and indefinitely.
So how do a lot of these photographers set this stuff up? Because there's I don't know what they call it, that little like Greek just north on Peachtree, where the road kind of takes a Y.
Yeah.
There's that little columnade with the
arc, Lee Ivy Park.
That might be it.
Yeah.
It's just north of the Hyatt, like 2 blocks north, where Peachtree kind of takes a turn, and there's all kinds of photographers there with all kinds of cosplayers. And like, okay, that wasn't just improv. They knew and set this up and scheduled time with these people. And they're probably not doing this for free because they got high-end equipment. So somebody's got to be doing something on the side there.
Okay, well, I have 2 parts to this answer. The first part is they do it for free. They do volunteer their time and, work with the cosplayers or the event organizers. And they're just the lead photographer. That's what I do for my avatar group shoot. That's what I'm doing for my what I did with Black Geeks of DragonCon last year. That's what I'm doing with my science fiction history photo shoot I have this year, and the World of Warcraft orc shoot. I have my personal schedule up later in the description, but yeah, so I just went and found groups of people who were doing photo shoots who needed photographers. Okay. And the other part of that question is you will have to watch my How to Run a Cosplay Photography Business podcast, because that's what we literally talk about, is how to make money in cosplay photography. And in that first episode, link in the description, that's definitely one thing me and the other cosplay photographers bring up, is specifically at DragonCon, how to go about making money. And I don't want to spoil all my tricks because I want to keep going to DragonCon because it's my favorite con. But it's possible, and I say just learn the rules and learn how to circumvent that. That's all I'm gonna say. You
are correct. Hardy Ivy Park is where I see a lot of them.
Yeah. So matter of fact, that's where my first shoot for my first 2 shoots for con is at. So they're back to back. That's weird how that planned that out. I didn't do that on purpose. I accidentally planned 2 shoots back to back without knowing I did that.
I think it's funny how you know your landmarks and I know mine. See, I would have said, "Oh, it's right next to Max Loggers."
Oh well, I mean, again, I live here.
That's true. That's true.
Day, so. But yeah, again, I just love con so much. Let me ask you this: like, since we talked about a little bit of the evolution of con over the decades, telling my age. Where do you see DragonCon growing and going in the future?
Oh man, great question. I am not a fortune teller, and I don't play one on TV. I would hope that it retains the that fun DNA that it's got. Where you can walk up to a total stranger and start having a conversation, whether you're in the badge line or the America's Mart or whatever. But yet, it still needs to grow. I haven't heard anybody say, gee, I wish it was only 20,000 people again. That's not the same vibe you get out of having 70, 80, 100,000 people there.
Right.
So to get to 100,000 and beyond, what does that mean? There's going to be some changes. You mentioned it before. The vendor rooms used to be in the basement of the Marriott, and now they're in like 2 different buildings,
right,
several blocks away. But yeah, people make the hike, and it's a busy experience. You get in there at the wrong time, and you're shoulder to shoulder with everybody, except for last year, which was pretty much wide open.
Yeah.
That was bizarre walking through there with hardly anybody in there. So there's going to be shifting around. I would expect them to start making use of more hotels, kind of the evolution that they've been doing for now. Started with the original 3, the Hyatt, the Hilton, the Marriott.
Right.
And then the Sheraton got in the picture. Then the Westin got in the picture.
Right.
Heck, I'm thinking the Embassy Suites might be a target, and that's like
the
2 miles away.
has been a host hotel. They just don't do panels there, but it is an official host hotel.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And then I know they're expanding to like Centennial Olympic Park. They've done stuff at the park and host.
At the park would be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be really cool if you could get. I'm send the LARPers there or something. I don't know what you would put in the park.
Oh, that's a good idea, because when I did that, they was just on the rooftop of the Hilton, and it was kind of lame. But it was, but like, I had to wear because I didn't know what it was. We just happened to find it on the schedule, and we walked in, and the lady was like, okay, well, you're not in cosplay, blah blah, so you have to be a Figment. So we had to wear index cards with Figment on them, and then people come up to us, oh, what are you a Figment of? And I was like, I'm a dog peeing on a tree, and just left it at that, because I didn't know, like I didn't know what was happening. Like, I was like, oh, this is so weird. Like, they're legit dressed and acting like they're drinking mead in a saloon in 1862 London or something. I don't know. It was weird. It was so weird. But it's why I love DragonCon, because it's so weird. That's why I love it so much.
There's something for everybody. I mean, it's science, it's science fiction, it's movies, it's TV, it's books, it's anime, it's manga, it's everything. There's just like something there for everyone.
Yeah.
Gamers and whatnot. I do have a sad bit of news that this is the last year we're going to have our particular Santa. He started the thing in 2014. We built up his costume. I should have made a video of that. I really wish. That's one of my regrets, is I didn't make a making of video of the Santa costume, because there were just some priceless memories in there. So another story for another time, but he said this is his last year being Santa. So we already have one in the pipeline, in case somebody's listening going, I want to be Santa. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got another Santa on the docket, but this is his last. He's a big gamer, so he usually goes to PAX or Gen Con or something like that. So he said, I didn't realize he's been coping with DragonCon, but
wow.
He said, you guys do the Star Trek thing. I'm not that big into Star Trek. Okay. What if it were up to him, he would probably be one of these guys that stays in the gamer room all 5 days. But he wants to be a good sport. He wants to be Santa and a lot of this stuff. So we've had our fun over the last 7-8 years. Sad to see him go. It also happens to be his birthday weekend, and he's always away from family. His kids are grown like mine, so it's not like that imperative that he has to be there. But he's married to his lovely wife for 30 plus years, so they probably want to have some time together as well. So I totally get it. Priorities are priorities, and family should come first. We'll still have a Santa. It'll just be a little different Santa. Of course, it's a costume, so you're not going to know.
Right.
Did Santa lose weight?
What? So you've been going to cons just as long as I have. I know you have that one crazy, impossibly to believe DragonCon story. I have one. It's amazing. I love my dragoncon story. I love telling it. So I'm going
I have lots of stories. Which one you want? I already told the one about the Star Trek, Leonard Nimoy and right. William Shatner. That's just a classic, kind of like my worst first day of work story. I'll give you another one. This was 2013, 2014. I can't remember. Maybe it was 15 or 16. I think I was in my 50s at the time. So we'll go with the latter numbers. And one of my dear friends, she says, you know what I want to do Sunday? I want to just not get drunk right away, but just maintain a buzz through the whole day.
I love it.
I'm with you, Sam. Let's do this. I should not have done this. Okay. So we'd stop. This was the year they had the Kraken booth in the lobby of the Hilton. So you couldn't not pass it and not get something with rum in it.
Right.
So it's glug. We'd go to a panel, and I always made sure that I had some bottle or a flask in my man purse, and in case I was running low, feeling sober, top off, and just kind of maintain that buzz. Well, we got to the Star Trek track, and they were doing a trivia game. It's like, hey, come on, let's play some trivia. And there's always those nerds that know who the executive producer was on this one particular, just deep knowledge. And we didn't expect to win anything, but we just thought we'd have some fun. And it wasn't just here's a trivia question, give me an answer. They had this multimedia experience where there was a TV, and then they'd play a clip, and then they'd stop, and they'd ask a question about, what's happening here. And hands go up, and people ask. Well, we're sitting about fairly far back in the room with our group of 8 or 9. And some of them moved to the front because we weren't getting picked. You raise your hand, and they always pick the people in the front. They say, well, I want to get picked. And I'm lit at this point. And I wasn't thinking clearly. They were playing a clip of Geordi LaForge, and he's been, his visor's been tampered by the Klingons, so, they can tell him what to do, and he doesn't realize it. So he walks into the cargo bay with a phaser in his hand, and he's aiming it at some Starfleet people about to shoot. And the guy says, he freezes the video, and he says, what's wrong with Geordi? And everybody started laughing, and I couldn't figure out. It took me, this felt like an eternity, but it was probably less than half a second. They were laughing at me, and I didn't know what I said. Until I realized what I said. And I shouted out, he's blind! And it was that was terrible. The guy said, that's not the right answer, but it's so funny I'm giving you a ticket. Because this blind guy's holding a phaser and about to shoot people with it. I thought it was hysterical at the time. It's not that funny. Right. Don't do trivia drunk. It's not a pleasant thing. There were a couple other answers that I got tickets for. He said, I know. He kind of prefaced the whole game. He says, I know there's going to be some real uber nerds that only one person is going to know the answer to this, and nobody else. And he said, Cartoon Network had a cartoon featuring the voice of Michael Dorn. My hand goes up. He said, what's the name of the cartoon? Or what's the name of the character? I said, what's the same thing? I Am Weasel. And he goes, nobody knows that. I said, well, yeah, I got kids. I had kids, and we would watch every morning. We'd get them up for school, and they'd watch cartoons for a half hour. Sometimes it was Powerpuff Girls. Sometimes it was I Am Weasel. Sometimes it was Dog and Cow and Chicken, whatever it was. So I got to know some of the Cartoon Network lineup, and that one was one of them. He says, all right, for the bonus question, Mr. Smartass back there who knows I Am Weasel, what was the name of his sidekick? Easy ticket here.
Right.
It's an IR Baboon. It's not even a Star Trek question at this point. So we had a lot of fun for that Trek panel. I'm surprised they didn't kick us out after the commentary I was making.
I've had an experience like that. I did a Marvel versus DC Jeopardy one year. Oh man, getting into a verbal fight with other nerds.
That should be Family Feud. What is this Jeopardy?
I don't know. That's what it was. It was Jeopardy Marvel versus DC or something. Sure. I don't know. And that's what it was. And the audience had to answer questions off this Jeopardy board. And me and another guy across the room knew the answer to like the minuscule detail, and we're arguing back
That's awesome.
and forth about who knew more about this one thing nobody else in the room cared about for 20 minutes of the panel. So yeah, that's fun. I like doing that. Like, I'm more nerdier than you, and I can prove it thusly. I love that. I love everything about DragonCon. But my number one all-time DragonCon story is when I met Stan Lee.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was 2012. I only went for like a couple hours because that was one of my post-college, you don't have money life kind of con stories, con visits. So I only went on Friday. I just walked around with my friends, going to the Sky Bridge from the Hilton into the Marriott, and it was just a line when it shouldn't have been a line, because security stopped the person in front of me asking for their badge and will not let them go until, you know, they got their badge out. And it was an elderly gentleman. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I'm having fun at con. It's a bunch of 300 cosplayers down there with no shirts on and making me feel very shameful of myself. So let's just go somewhere else where they're not at. And you know, my friend keeps pinching me in my side and like pinching me in my side, like, look who it is. Look who it is in front of us. And I'm like, oh, that's a very nice Stan Lee cosplayer who is taking time.
He probably gets that all the time too. That's what's funny.
Right. So anyway,
I'm not Stan Lee. I mean, no, that's my name, Stanley. Stanley what? Stanley Spakowski.
Right. So anyway, his assistant finally we get going. We're going across the Sky Bridge, and she's still pinching me because I'm still not believing her. I'm like, whatever. We're at DragonCon.
But you don't know. You don't know at that point if it's real or not. I've seen some really good.
Yeah.
George Lucas. I've seen a wonderful. In fact, I still keep in touch with this guy. Edward James Olmos. Okay. There's a guy who looks just like him, and he. But yeah, so you really don't trust your eyes at first going.
Right. And then like I'm only seeing the back of him, so I'm like, I didn't know.
yeah.
What changed my mind was, so we're going across the Sky Bridge and everyone coming the opposite direction is like
freaking out.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay.
You should have made a video of that. That's like that's an animated GIF right there.
So like we're walking, everyone is just like as nice as possible, just saying thank you to them, everything. And then they're looking at me and my friends, and we're all geeking out because we're walking behind them. We make it into the Marriott, past the security guard. I was like, I know this is protocol. I'm not supposed to do this, but I got to because we're here because of you. So I asked for a picture. He was like, sure, you get one. Like Spider-Man, you get one. And we got a picture. 2012, crappy Razor camera phone.
Oh yeah.
In the dark, so like there's no lights, there's no ISO. I have it up on my Facebook page, and it's like you see him and you see me smudge, you see my friend smudge, and it's all grainy and whatever. But I'm proud of it. I'm proud
absolutely
of it.
Yeah.
But yes, I absolutely 100% love DragonCon. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about your podcast and tell everybody where you can find it? Because we're reached the end of the podcast, so we're gonna start wrapping.
Holy smokes! Did that time go by fast?
It did. It goes by fast when you're having fun talking about.
We're now an hour and a half closer to DragonCon.
Yes, we are now an hour and a half closer to DragonCon. Oh my god, I can't wait! Like I just want to be there now. Okay.
Yeah, so I've got 2 for fun, 1 for work, possibly 2 for work coming up. A podcast. The one that we've been doing the longest is called Technorama. Mm-hmm. You can find it at chuckchat.com. We've been doing that since 2005. And we just cover a whole bunch of nerdy news. It could be space, could be science, could be, Nichelle Nichols' ashes going up into space, could be the guy who turned his living room into the bridge of the Enterprise. It's all over the place. So we have a lot of fun with that. We also have some regular segments in there, like On This Day in History. So you might actually learn something, but it's not our fault.
Right.
But that's Technorama in a nutshell. The other one is we like to call it the stories that ended up on the cutting room floor most cases. The other one is called The Topic is Trek. You can guess by the name, it's about Star Wars. Not kid. It's all about Star Trek. So we do news and reviews around the shows, and then we have some discussion around What would it be like if, or where would you go when? There's just some open-ended, thought-provoking discussions. So those are the two, and I've got one for work that's all about developers. So everything I do and everything related to me, including Amazon, bookstore, GitHub, is all at chucktomasi.com. ChuckTomasi.
All right, great. I'm gonna have all the links for your social media in the description, website, everything, all your podcast links. This has been fun. I cannot wait to meet you at con. I'm definitely gonna look for you in the staging area during the parade on Saturday. Before we go, there's been this one question because you keep talking about Star Trek, and I am a new Star Trek fan. Over the last 5 or 6 years or so. So I just gotta ask you, because Discovery ended earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
We have Brave New Worlds,
Strange New Worlds. Yeah,
Strange New Worlds now, and I'm enjoying that actually. And Lower Decks just came out again with their new season. Are you caught up? Are you liking what you're seeing? And I guess Picard. I'm not really that big a fan of Picard. But are you liking what you're seeing? Which one is your favorite? Are you one of those people that thinks Discovery is a little not like the rest of the Star Trek franchises?
To people who think that is, well, let's start at the beginning. Am I caught up? Yes, I have to be, because we covered on our podcast. We watched, we had a special episode for Lower Decks last week. We do it every other week, and that was our off week. We go, well, if we do that, then we're going to be at DragonCon, and then we're going to have like 4 shows to review when we get back. So let's curb the backlog a little bit. So we did that. Enjoying them all very much. They each have their own strong attributes. You ask 10 people to rank them, you'll get 10 different rankings.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a family. There are kids who are talented in this way, and there are kids who are naughty in that way. So it's not really are there favorites? They resonate for different reasons. I love things like Lower Decks and the way that they really hit those Easter eggs hard.
Yeah.
They want to know who those deep Star Trek nerds are that laugh at this stuff. Where the technical coordinator, director, I don't know what you want to call it, the person behind the scenes that makes sure the science actually works, because they didn't used to do that way back when. They do now. Dr. Erin McDonald, she's a friend of ours that we keep in touch with. We see her on the Star Trek cruise. That's another fun time that we'll have to talk about another time. So there's a lot of fun stuff, and she's part of injecting some of that in there. Picard, I enjoyed both the seasons. Looking forward to season 3. I understand it's a 3-season series, so when it's done next year. It's more of a drama series. There's more to it. Strange New Worlds, love it because it's episodic. Right. Return to the TOS days, right, kind of thing. And Discovery. A lot of people got bent out of shape. Like, what did they do to the Klingons? And that's not how a bridge of a ship that's pre-Enterprise should look, or pre-TOS. It's like, it's science fiction. Like they say on Mystery Science Theater, just repeat to yourself, it's just a show. Sit back and relax.
Right.
Enjoy it for what it is. It's an escape mechanism. If you get wound around the axle, you're not doing it right.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree. Just side question: what's your favorite Star Trek property out of the entire franchise? What is your number one when you go back and rewatch?
It may have changed over the years. For the longest time, I probably would have said TNG.
Okay.
There was a lot of good stuff in there once they got the train rolling after about season 1.5, 2. But I've really gotten a deeper appreciation for Deep Space Nine and just the overall arc that took. I think it was underappreciated at the time, but more appreciated now that it's matured a bit. Okay. So a lot of good stuff in there. Kudos to all of the writers and the actors and all the production team that puts those things together. That's not an easy job, especially when you're working in an established universe. It's not like we can make this up as we go. There's certain limitations. Yes, you can invent something that's new and you say, all right, now that's canon. Other times you're working with, hang on, we can't do that because it's already been talked about over here, and that would cross the streams a bit. Now they have done that once or twice. But.
Right. I'll say Star Trek has taken that challenge that you just mentioned a lot better than, say, Disney and Star Wars and some of their newer stories that take place in between certain time periods. Because as I don't know how you feel about Obi-Wan, I don't know if you saw it. I think it was unnecessary, because I'm like, what's the point? We know where everybody needs to be by this certain time. So what's the I'm not just watching just for poops and giggles. I'm just watching just for poops and giggles. What would have been better in that scenario is if we just got like a series of Vader just being Vader for 20 years. I would have rather much watched that than Obi-Wan coming back and having this
Vader vacuuming the carpet.
Yeah, Vader vacuuming the carpet with force. I would much rather watch that in that time period between episode 3 and 4 than whatever they've come up with. Except Rogue One. Rogue One was actually probably the best.
Rogue One was, that was surprising out of the gate. And I think a lot of the bashing, a friend of mine just had this discussion on his podcast, a lot of the bashing around Star Wars comes from the romanticism of episodes 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
They really weren't that good.
No, they weren't. They really weren't.
They're romanticized a lot because they happened when, this was in my childhood. So therefore it's sacrosanct. We can't touch it. It's like, no. Yeah. Look at it through, an objective lens and put these things side by side. And you're going to find, there's different attributes than you may have originally remembered.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I still kind of am traumatized from seeing Luke and Leia kiss and just never having an explanation from that scene for 40 years. But cool, I'll allow it. They kissed that one time and just never brought it up again. But as far as going back to Star Trek, personally, I like Voyager. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but Voyager is my favorite season. It's the one. I mean, I grew up kind of watching
a lot of good stuff in Voyager. Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff. 7 of 9, Janeway, Tuvok in some places, Chakotay not so much. But that's just my personal taste. But I grew up like watching it, but like I wasn't like Star Trek and Star Wars was not my thing growing up. I only really got into those into my teens and adulthood. Star Wars in my teens and Star Trek in my adulthood. My thing is Power Rangers. I can tell you everything under the sun about Power Rangers and Super Sentai. I'm enjoying learning the history of Star Trek and watching congruent seasons and movies at the same time, and then watching Lower Decks. And like, I just watched this episode of Voyager where that Easter egg was in, because otherwise I would have not known what it was.
You get them in a backwards order and go, now I get it. Like my kids.
Yeah, it's a backwards order, but like I'm having fun. Like Lower Decks, I did not think I would enjoy an animated Star Trek, but Lower Decks is probably I like Discovery, but Lower Decks. I'm sorry, Lower Decks, just because of that. But live action Voyager is my favorite.
Very good.
Very good. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna see probably a little too much of each other over this weekend if we can find each other amongst the crowd. And I'll definitely want to have you back on for the post show when I have Hanko and Dana back on. So this was fun. This was so much fun, but I have to go to work, and then I can enjoy my con. Then I can officially start con when I get off of work in the morning.
One more business day and one big bad PowerPoint to make.
Yeah. Well, luckily I work in TV, so all I have to do is just go to work and watch TV and then come home. So it's not that bad. I'm understanding what I have to do. It's a lot of work we have to do, but essentially I'm going to go watch TV tonight and get paid for it.
Good luck.
Yeah.
See you in a few days.
Yeah. See you in a few days. But thank you for coming on. This has been Blurredcast. Everybody, I'll see you at DragonCon for my live. If I can figure that out. And yeah, this has been fun. Later.